to show me how to trick my brain and do it. And so this is the exact system that I used to go from like zero to hero in a very, very short amount of time. Um, and this part won't necessarily resonate with a whole lot of people who don't understand our company or our business, but to go from just, hey, I'm a marketing rep to an executive vice president in about 6 months was pretty huge. Like a lot of people just don't do that. Yeah.
Well, the words are huge alone. I mean, anybody who knows anything about any kind of business knows marketing rep to executive vice president is a large leap. And 6 months of time, I mean, that doesn't happen in corporate America in 6 months.
No.
So, because you're an entrepreneur and Five Rings Financial offers you a different plan,
Yeah. Yeah.
environment,
Mm-hmm.
trajectory, ability, however you want to put it, you were able to do that. But you couldn't do it before you learned how to chunk down your big vision
Mm-hmm.
into attainable goals, attainable
Yeah.
steps. I call it the yellow brick road. And so sorry, go ahead.
Eating the elephant one at a time.
Unless you're me, in which case you want to try to shove the whole thing in at once. So, is it own your future? Because I have been not a great person. Well, that's not true. I'm an awesome person. I've been not a great buyer of own your own future because you didn't have one the last time I saw you, and I think I left early the time before that.
Right.
But is it a book or is it a journal?
It is a journal. So the first part of it just kind of chunks down the sections of the journal into, I'm quite honestly, Raleigh, you know how simple I am, right? So I like things simple. I'm not a big fan of brain damage. But it was really kind of cool just because this guy showed me the path, and I was like, okay, great, that works. Awesome. I'm such a girl. Such a girl. Like, hey, can I stick my key in the car and it'll start? Sweet. Right? Um, such a girl. And then once I wrote this and I kind of tweaked a couple of other things. I took a couple pieces from a couple of other journals and added it in there for the accountability piece, because for me, I can get so wrapped up in what I'm doing that I'm not a good accountability partner for anybody else. But I know with this journal, I can keep myself accountable because, well, I'm an adult, right? I'm accountable to myself and my family and my kids, and so I've got to do this business. And a lot of people get into business and they just don't treat it like a business. And so it is a journal to keep yourself on track to do 90 days at a time, right? Because we need to run really, really hard, run hard, rest. That's how even professional athletes do it. But when I was going to speak for the entire company and just kind of tell them what this is about, I did a ton of research as to why that system works. So it's super like left brain, right brain. There's something magical that happens in your vibration when you physically write your goal down every day as if it already existed. Then tell yourself why you want that goal. That was kind of really the piece that I was missing. Like I could say, hey, yeah, I want to get this, but then if I didn't understand why and how it would change my life or my family's life, then there just wasn't the emotional attachment there. But then there's the gratitude piece, because the gratitude is where you can attract more of what you are appreciative of. But then it's also in that space where you can create. You can also be appreciative of the stuff you're about to receive. And then it's really, okay, what do I got to do today? And then it does a weekly. So it's just, there's that piece between actually physically writing. Like people are like, well, I just want to type it in. And it's like, no, it doesn't work that way. It doesn't. You have to write it.
So it has to be a physical book. Like you have
Yes.
to own the actual physical book. It's funny. I'm going to skip back up to something you said about, in high school, it was easy for you to be successful. And then in college, it was easy to show up to class and do the work and do the test. And again, it was easy for you to be successful. And what I'm hearing you say when you talk about the accountability piece is that in high school and then a little bit similarly in college, the plan, the outline, the structure, the what to do next was already in place. You do this, then you do this, then you do this, then you do this. And so it's like we're training people without telling them that we're training them, so they don't know they should remember the steps.
That's awesome.
They're like just following the plan. This is what coach said to do. And it like in one ear they do the task, it's out the ear, but we're not actually teaching them that there's actually a structure. And in the work I do at Live It Choice, we call it a creation statement. And they're different from affirmations in that it's a simplified statement. You take out all the ways of how it's going to show up or what it's going to look like. We call that the form. And then so you create in an I am, I have, I do, I be kind of statement as if you have it already. And so it's exactly what you were talking about, putting it down in a way it's coming. And then the other thing we do at Live It Choice, which I love, because I always struggled with the whole gratitude journal thing, because I found it very challenging to be grateful. I'm like, what do I have to be grateful for? My life is sucking wind. I don't have any money. I'm in a marriage I don't want to be in. Grateful my ass, So I found the word gratitude. For me, the distinction of what that meant was really challenging. I call them miracles, which is challenging for a whole nother set of people, by the way. But when I write down my miracles every day, when I wake up and the first thing I think is, what were the miracles? It brings me present to what I have achieved. And in America, again, we've been societized that we should always be achieving, but we're never taking that time to be in tune with and appreciative with ourselves. I'm a pop culture fan, and I like to quote movies and all sorts of quotes. And there is a line in the movie Eat, Pray, Love where she is in Rome and she's walking with her Italian teacher. And he says to her, and it stuck with me, and the line is something akin to, this is not verbatim, but he says to her, we have to be very polite with ourselves, Liz, when we're learning something new. Isn't that an awesome quote? I'm going to have to go back and get the actual quote now, but I love it. Yeah. We have to learn to be very polite with ourselves. We're learning. We don't know. In an American culture, we have this idea that if you ever look like you don't know, somehow you're a failure. And so, that's all of this came to me while you were talking, that in high school, it's really chunked down for you.
Yeah.
The coach...
because you don't have to think about it.
You know what you have to do. The coach tells you each day what you do, but you don't have to make the plan yourself. In college, it's a little less structured, but it's still all there. And then you get out on your own, and it's like, okay, go. And there's no plan. Right. So this whole real problem and I see it really, really as a difficult challenge for entrepreneurs. I know for me that I am learning, I'm being polite with myself here, I am learning how to balance once you really start doing the work, because it's always a surprise. How long did I spend in my business saying I was working so hard, but I really was putting in about 35 minutes a day?
Right.
And you think you're working hard. You really do believe it. And then...
You're busy. You're always busy, quote unquote.
Yes, you're always busy. Busy is like the whole thing where I'm too busy. But now I see, when I look at my schedule, that I'm literally putting in probably between 8 and 12 hours a day.
Right.
And turning it off at night has become something I am not particularly well versed at. I haven't learned it. What time of the day do I need to turn it off so that by 11:30 at night I can actually go to sleep? And I think I'm hoping that you're going to tell me that this journal, because I'm getting one, is going to help me break that piece down so that I'm not spending 14 hours a day creating this business, and I'm also not spending 14 hours a day at lunch with Kristen Judd.
Well, that in itself would be awesome. But at the end, there is a piece in that journal where you get to summarize your day and kind of either get ready for the next day, that whole planning for tomorrow so you can go to sleep piece of it. But really kind of assessing, how did my day go? What did I do well? What didn't I do well? And where do I need to show up better next time? So it's that whole assessing piece. There's a section for I'm always looking for more opportunities, different words, ways to market, or a different way to show up. And so I'm always taking notes that way as well. So that summarizing your day and ending your day with what went well, how can I show up better next time or tomorrow, is a great way for you to just be like, okay, I'm done.
Okay, so we've talked about the journal. Where does someone go to get the journal?
You can go to Amazon.com and you can either search Kristen Judd or Own Your Future, and it'll pop right up.
And Kristen Judd is spelled with an E, so KristenJudd. I know because I spelled it wrong and couldn't find her on Facebook. So when you're looking for her, spell her name right.
I'm a 10.
Because she is a 10. She's actually a 100, but I'm going to give her a 10 in this case. So let's talk a little bit about Five Rings Financial. Tell me more. What do you do? Who is it? What are they? Why do you love them? What was different?
Well, and so I started back in financial services right out of college, because I actually went to, I thought I wanted to be a CPA. Then I realized it was way too much fun, and then switched to finance. And I actually started in financial services right out of college. And, I just really became disenfranchised. I thought I got connected with a company that worked with middle Americans, because that's where I'm from. I grew up on a farm. We worked really hard. I wanted to serve those people. And then I just became really disenfranchised and learned a lot. And I was like, okay, I'm out. I'm done. But it was, after all the life and everything showed up, that I really was like, hey, what are my gifts? What are my talents? How do I show up? And Five Rings just kept showing up. Like, it just kept showing up. I'm asking, and Five Rings keeps showing up. And so then I really checked to find out. We were already clients. We'd already moved our money, so we already loved what they did and how they showed up. And then that's how I got connected. But we really are very, very heart focused on middle America. And so the fact that that company or that training said, hey, 98% of America is useless to you, we love that fact, because we are geared towards the education piece. So we do, a ton of education, because there's just none available when it comes to money. Because if we all had really, really great information from the get-go, we'd be in much different situations than we are today. And so the education piece is huge. So we do that, through Wine, Women, and Wealth, and through another class called Money 101, How Money Works for You. And we just teach those things that the wealthy have known for years. Because there are rules to money. Just like there's rules to Monopoly. There's rules to any game that you play. And you have to know the rules in order to win. And nobody is teaching the rules. So that part is really awesome. I love that part, that give back first. Let me teach you and give you some information that nobody's ever done before. And then the other part that's really great for me, because I've had a lot of other licenses to sell different stuff in the financial services arena, is that I get to say a couple of really cool things. And one of them is, I'll never lose your money, because we don't actually put your money in the market, but we put it in products that, one, helps you sleep well at night. I sleep well at night because it's a really big thing to have someone give you some of your money, all of their money, and it's a huge, huge honor and responsibility. And so that's really great for me, because I need to be able to sit across the table and say, you know what, I'm going to take care of you. I'm going to make sure that you never lose your money, because nobody has ever said losing my hard-earned money is my new favorite.
I never have said that.
Nobody has. And so, but then the other part is too, and a lot of people will not seek out help or assistance because they're afraid someone like me costs a lot. Because we've worked hard, we've gotten licenses, we've done tons of training, all that kind of stuff. But so they think someone in financial services costs a lot, and there are some people who do in the financial industry. And those fees can add up. They can limit the amount of money that you actually earn. but I get to tell my people that I'll never charge them a fee. So no one ever strokes me a check. The companies that I've